Hey, it's Enigma Hood. Now, some people have been suggesting that justice means fairness. Since when does that mean? Since when do those two mean the same thing? Because if that's what justice is, then we do not practice justice in America by any stretch of the imagination. If you poke somebody's eyes out, what's fair? What's fair is what's equal. If you poke somebody's eyes out, what's fair is for your eyes to be poked out. But we can't do that in this country because that would be cruel and unusual punishment. So I don't agree with this idea that justice equals fairness, or what you do, the same thing happens to you. I don't know what the hell justice means. I don't think that you can have a society where you have this delusion of fairness. Fairness doesn't have anything to do with how much you want a person to suffer. Because what are you trying to accomplish by making a criminal suffer? There are many things you can accomplish. And the first and foremost reason is, of course, vengeance. You want to make somebody suffer for sadistic pleasure. That is the number one reason. Human beings are sadistic animals. And anybody who denies that is grasping on, like I wanted to say is in denial, but okay, I'm being a little redundant with my words here, but it's the truth, right? Anybody who denies that is in fact in denial. You're trying to take this wholly self-righteous approach to making people suffer. How the hell can you ever rationalize making somebody suffer unless you admit that yes, we want to make this person suffer because it makes us feel good. When we make other people feel bad that we hate, we derive sadistic pleasure. What can I say about that? That's the way human beings are. So when you talk about justice, you're just using that as a euphemism. I have to go back to that other video. Yeah, it's just a euphemism. And what's fair is punishing someone the same way that they administered suffering to other people. Sometimes it's impossible to make a person suffer as much as they made other people suffer, right? Sometimes they could be responsible for the suffering of millions of people. Millions of people, countless people have been dying, suffering, and just, you can't even measure it. Can't even measure it. Like the poking the eyeball thing, that's easy. That's easy to administer punishment for, because then you know what to do to this motherfucker. You poke his eyes out. That would be equal, fair. But what happens when you make a million people suffer? What's fair for that person? Should be a million times more suffering. But you can't do that unless you send them to this fictional hell. So guys, if I could ask one thing of you, is to expunge these silly notions of justice. There is no such thing as justice. There's only a such thing as hatred, revenge, sadistic pleasure, and also the practical things. I don't want to exclude all the practical things because they are important. Rehabilitation, that's a practical thing. We do want to rehabilitate some people. Sequestration. You want to sequester violent people from the not violent people, from the regular citizenry. Deterrence. There are two types of deterrence, general and specific deterrence. Okay, specific deterrence means deterring that person specifically. General deterrence means using that person as an example to deter other people. Now, if you want to define justice as including vengeance and all of these other things, then actually I could go along with that, as long as you don't say that it's fair. Justice is not fair. Mercy, granting mercy to someone, for example, is not fair. It goes against those notions. It goes against the notions of fairness because you're granting mercy. Anyway, that's all I want to say for now. This is Enigma Hood signing off.